Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this public meeting of Council of March 25th, 2019. Welcome, everybody. You see that members of Council are wearing a little ribbon. It's for epilepsy. This is Epilepsy Month. Without further ado, dear colleagues, give me the serenity to accept the things that cannot change, the courage to change the things that can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I call the meeting to order. We have quorum. Were there any declarations of conflicts of interest for this meeting? None. We'll proceed with the adoption of the agenda. Before we do that, I think we need to make a change. There's a mistake in a date. Yes, at 10.41, there was a date. It's indicated here the 22nd, but it should be the 23rd because that's the Easter weekend and it's a holiday. So we must change that. April 23rd. So the agenda has been amended, moved by Councillor Cormier and seconded by Councillor Leblanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as accepted. Item 7, presentations, inquiries, and petitions. We'll start with inquiries by council members to Kodiak Regional RCMP. Are there any questions? I know that we have some concerns respecting burglaries in houses in different areas in our municipality, but it's generalized. I don't know if you have any information, Inspector? These past week, yes, we had a lot of burglaries in residences and especially in cars, and we're asking people to leave nothing visible in their cars. They run around at night and they look into cars and they try the doors. And you wouldn't believe the number of people that would leave their doors unlocked, even with the keys inside. So we ask everybody to lock your doors, don't leave anything on the seats. Even sunglasses. Sometimes they can be very expensive and they'll try anything. So we want to discourage them. They'll even crash the window to get inside. And if there's nothing inside, then they'll just go to the next car and try to see if there's something inside. So please don't leave anything inside your cars. Thank you, Councillor Ade. I was looking at my notes of last year, and I was going to talk about it at point number 13. I wanted to mention that last year, the inspector, this is for the inspector, he was explaining to us that we had a few requests last year, and people have asked me this week, they want more lighting. And they're ready to pay for it too. Is there a way that we could look at this question to see if there would be some options available if people need more lighting for safety purposes? You see within the downtown that lights are part of the environment. In residential areas, people want more lighting. Could there be some kind of lighting program? Because I was asked this question 2 or 3 times this past month. It's an option for safety. Yes, we've received in the past requests from residents. They wanted more lighting on the streets. It's not always the best option. It's a case-by-case matter. So people can call us, and we would be happy to look at the situation, the lights on streets. I know that since lighting is LED now, it's another type of lighting at night, but there are other alternatives to residences. Maybe they need lights beside or behind the house or elsewhere on the property. So this could be a case-by-case issue where you could make recommendations to protect them. Lighting that are lit by movement. If they could call us, we could consider it. And of course, there is experts that do evaluations as well. And in the private sector, that's another alternative for the citizens. It's not only street lighting that's a solution for everybody. Thank you. Anybody else? No? I also wanted to share something with you. I don't know if you've heard in the media. Starting in April, cars in New-Brunswick will no longer need a front license plate. So I just wanted to let you know that it's coming into force very soon, so we'll only have one license plate in the back of the car. And I have statistics of last month for the greater Kodiak region, not only for Dieppe, but I could share that with you if you want. Last month, we answered to more than 2,000 calls. We had over 2,000 calls that came into the office that didn't need an officer to answer to this call, but we had an investigation by telephone. We had 131 prisoners last month, and we do verifications of prisoners that are released with conditions. They have to be at the house at such and such an hour. And of these 131 prisoners, there were 4 that were not present. So they had to arrest them because they breached the conditions. And we had 302 tickets, could be speeding or other, and 142 accidents. 20 involved injuries. Nobody died. And we had 1 arrest for drinking and driving. Any other questions? Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question for the inspector. The province tells us that we don't have to have a license plate in the front of the car, but I think your suggestion is to keep it anyway. No, we have no suggestions. This is just a new statute. The province decided, and in other provinces, like Quebec, for instance, there's only a license plate in the back, and a few other provinces do that as well. This statute is coming into effect in April. So it's not necessary to remove the front license plate. I don't think so, but once you renew your license plates, then you'll only get one of them. Nobody told us to remove it or that we'll give a ticket if you have one. There are disadvantages, of course. In some cases, it would be advantageous to have the 2 license plates. Thank you. Councillor Arsenault, thank you, Your Worship. Inspector Breton, I don't know if this is the best solution to remove the front license plate. I always thought it would be safer to have two. Then you could check the number of the license plate more easily if need be. I'm wondering if it was the province's idea, but it was not up to the RCMP to do that. No, we had nothing to do with that. With respect to safety, was it not an advantage? Well, for us, it's better if we have two of them, but it's not for us to decide. I'm sure they've done studies on it before they took a decision, but I don't know what that is. That's a separation of the state and justice. Thank you. Councillor Brideau and then Councillor Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. Mr. Breton, with respect to the house breakings that took place in the last month, like, I know what happened, but a few days later, in my street, there was surveillance. So I want to thank you for that, and I hope you'll continue that in our streets. I have schools where I live, and I thanked one of your officers because it's very much appreciated. People told me that they were afraid of what was happening because these were thefts that cost a lot of money to some citizens. One guy lost all his tools on St. Therese Street. Another guy lost equipment for his skidoo, and it was in his trailer. I know you can't control what happens at night, unfortunately. We have thieves that run around at night. But at least with the traffic in our neighborhood, the surveillance is appreciated. We were making surveillance of one candidate that was giving us a lot of trouble this past month, and we arrested him late Saturday night. Now he's behind bars. So that helps us. When we know who they are, they're going to continue to do this type of stuff. But when they're behind bars, it's safer for us. Thank you, Councillor Godet. I just have a comment for those who remove their front license plate. We suggest they destroy them and not to just throw them away, because sometimes you might find somebody who's running around with your license plate because they're stolen here and there, and I know it happened to me twice that my trailer plate was stolen. So if you take them off, destroy them. Otherwise, you could have problems later. Before destroying it, perhaps call the motor vehicle office and ask them what you can do with them. They might ask you to take them back to them. There are many ways to destroy them. So I think a call to motor vehicles office would be better. Thank you. Nobody else? Then we'll continue the meeting, and you may stay if you wish. If not, we'll understand. Presentation of the Sustainable Development Plan. Mr. Girard, good evening. Good evening, Your Worship, councillors. I'm here today to talk about our project and to give you information on our development plan that took place in 2018 and the strategic plan that we present each year. since a few years now, I've been before you to present projects, municipal projects. And I'm going to do the same thing for the year 2018. Before talking about initiatives and projects, I'll give you a bit of a context. I'll tell you about the intervention and 3 spheres of the development plan. So here you have the cover page of our sustainable development plan. It's on the website. The 3 spheres are community life, economy, and environment. Here we have 10 axes of intervention that are incorporated in our plan, and we have as a goal each year to try to have projects and initiatives to attack all these interventions, and some projects will have many axes of intervention. So if you look at the logo beside each title in my presentation later, I'll talk about which ones we have touched on 2018. Then we have initiatives in Dieppe. The pursuit of sustainable development in Dieppe has many community initiatives to improve quality life and environment, and we touch other aspects of the development plan in the municipality: strategic plan, transportation, parks, climate change, and others. The first initiative that we talked about relates to active transportation in the municipality and regional transportation. In 2018, we installed the 3 bicycle stations. There's one at the market, the Rotary Park, and on the river trail. And we've had updates on the active transportation network. This is an interactive chart, and eventually it will be available to the public, and people will have the opportunity to visualize all the trails and the connections, etc. Oh, I hope this will work. It doesn't seem to be working, so I'll talk about the next initiative. Our next initiative is to collect rainwater. We started in 2018 with this project in partnership with the University of Moncton. We distributed 40 barrels, water barrels, to residents, and we had over 100 requests from citizens in the municipality. So this is an initiative to manage rainwater. People can use these barrels to capture the water from the roof and reuse it to water the gardens and the grass, the lawn. And in the municipality, we want to reduce greenhouse gases and to diminish them by 15% before 2025. So we have corporate measures that we're using each year. In the municipality, we have we look for opportunities to increase the efficiency of the energy of our fleet. So in 2018, our municipality committed itself financially to participate in a project SAVE. It is for a green electricity, and with the municipal fleet as well to car share in partnership with the francophone municipalities of New-Brunswick. We didn't have any announcements respecting financing, but I'm sure it'll be a positive answer. So it'll be a good opportunity to integrate electric vehicles within our municipal fleet and to do sharing with organizations within the municipality. And also we have charging stations here that we'll need financing for. Another problem with gas within the province, in the municipal. We've had energy evaluations in our municipal buildings, and we have had recommendations formally to increase energy efficiency. So we have formal recommendations after evaluations. We have a process, and eventually we'll pass the file over to you for budget reasons and prioritization. And in the process of evaluation, we must submit a financing request to the SAM for a pilot project for energy efficiency. So we're in a preliminary process, and we wanted to present the idea on the budget deliberations this fall. So essentially, this project would have a good potential to gain 30% of efficiency in preliminary, and it would be very interesting for the municipality. And we've had partners. Eco360 is a partner in the municipality, and we have an objective to reduce greenhouse gases respecting solid waste. So we've had a lot of initiatives that are led by Eco360 that helps us in this objective. Recycling project and the mobile site, and electricity production and the methane that is produced by garbage at the dumps. So we're trying to find a way to reduce the gas effects. And we have working committee regionally to evaluate the possibility of eliminating plastic bags. Moncton and Riverview are doing it as well with Eco360. So that's a file on which we are very active. The next project relates to collective element with an objective to eliminate greenhouse gas collectively. So it's a good thing to talk to residents in the municipality and the developers to see what their role is to reduce greenhouse gases in the municipality. We started a partnership with Université de Moncton and Energy NB and other interveners, stakeholders, and we've filed an application for financing with the Department of the Environment to see what the opportunities and the obstacles so that the houses could have net zero consumption. Some people would consume as much as they produce. When we talk about production of electricity, we're talking about solar panels. So we're wondering why we don't see any more of these. So this project would examine the possibility of having interviews with developers and experts to find out what the obstacles are to try to find solutions. And we would like to have a final solution, a document that we could share throughout the province that would give us more solutions to be able to share with the developers and residents who want to commit themselves to increase their energy efficiency in their homes or using solar panels. The next initiative would be planting trees. We have a technician in municipal forestry that works very well, very hard with the team on different programs to plant trees within the city. We planted 65 trees with our plantation program and 21 One Tree for Life. And we also planted plants on municipal sites, and young trees we've given out to residents at the Festival de la Jeunesse. And in 2018, we hired a student. He's the bachelor's degree at the University of Moncton, Mr. Lond, who studies the possibility of producing electricity with solar panels. So if you look at the image on the left, this is the territory of the municipality, and you can see the potential of production of solar energy. And this is interesting because we can distribute it to people who are interested in having solar panels on the roof. We also have an expert who gave us more details on the potential of solar energy on our own buildings. So he gave us a business case and told us when it would be a good time to have them installed, and then we could get how long it would take to get back into our money. So we'll have to see how we're going to go ahead with this information. Lately, Council adopted the management plan of downtown. We have a guide, and we've had consultations with staff and council. So we want to have a guide to help us improve the streets and how it will look. We've done a lot of work in 2018 on this. And a lot of our tasks are educating people to present all the good work we've done through our partners. So we've done presentations with Energy NB on our sustainable plan and the Francophone Association of Municipalities of New-Brunswick, and to the province of New-Brunswick, and our guide, our planning guide on the downtown to town planners in New Brunswick. So we've done a lot of networking, and we've created partnerships because often we need them to go ahead with our projects, and it helps us prioritize. So these opportunities are important for us. With respect to communications with residents and education, our communications department does a lot of work as well, publishing and Facebook, tweeting, publications also on their website. So it's important to communicate all the good things that we've done and all our goals with the population. And this last slide mentions our partners that help us with our sustainable development plan. So that's it for 2018. Thank you, Mr. Girard. Are there any questions? None? I thank you for this presentation. It gives us a good review on all the initiatives in place in the city of Dieppe, and I know not in Moncton, but in Dieppe. I was changing directions. There are municipalities, like our neighbors, they're passing resolutions on climatic crises, but I'm glad to see that we are acting. It's good to make declarations on crises, but here we are acting, and we should be proud in this matter. I hope you'll find these comments very exciting. Thank you. Next item. There are no questions from the public? Yes. Go ahead. Good evening. I'm Danielle Mallet. I represent the Association of Hard of Hearing in Moncton and Dieppe. And I came with my colleague Ria to thank you very much for this system. It allows us to hear what you are saying. This is the first time we came in March, we tried the system and it did not work. Tonight, it's working very well. And as a member of the association, I will mention it to our members so that they can come to the meetings here at City Hall, because we have a system that will allow them to participate in the meeting. So I thank you very much. Thank you. I know that the 4 units that were delivered to us the first time, unfortunately, were defective when they left their plant. So it allowed us to learn a lesson. Now we're equipped to check them before each meeting to ensure that they work. So thank you for the opportunity to serve you. Thank you. And now we'll go to the adoption of minutes, 9.1. The minutes of the regular meeting of March 11th. No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Adopted as presented. Now we'll go to motions, memorandums, and nominations. 10.1, administration. Mr. Melanson. Thank you, Your Worship. The first file is a ratification of various directives adopted at closed meetings. We want to make them public. Now we have 6 of them tonight before council, so I'll give you a summary. Firstly, the directive was given to personnel of Dieppe for the intergenerational community complex for $29 million, January 2017, and the municipality committed to $9.5 million. Last fall, we gave a contract to Permelo for $30 million following our RFP, and we chose that contractor. So this is the first directive adopted then, at that time, 2017. Then we had accepted the name Uniplex for the official name. It was made public last week. Tonight, it's to make it public. Then we had authorized expansion Dieppe for financial aid for a program on 5 years for Expansion Dieppe to help them with the expenses in the industrial park. And so we already received one amount, and we'll receive the rest later. Then we closed a street on Portland, and everything's been finalized now, so we gave a directive to go to the sale of this land to Centennial Auto Body Limited in the amount of $30,000. Then we have a directive for expansion Dieppe for acquisition of properties for New-Brunswick Housing Corporation. There are 2 properties that are strategic in downtown Phase 2 project. Their PID 009898848 701294999, and it's for an amount of $300,000. We're going to relocalize 2 families in Dieppe according to the norms of New Brunswick Housing Corporation. And the last directive here are parcels, land parcels. We're on Virginia Avenue. So we finished the transactions to buy these parcels. So this is a directive making it public to formalize that this project is complete. We've acquired all the parcels of land. Thank you. So now we'll proceed with the reading of the resolutions with Madame Arsenault. Thank you. The Council ratify the directives adopted at closed meetings of Council concerning the following topics. 1. Intergenerational community complex cost of project, intergenerational community complex name. 3. Long-term funding, Dieppe Industrial Park expansion. 4. Sale of vacant land, PID 706092250 Portland Street. 5. Purchase of 2 properties, PID is 009898848 and 701294999. Lorraine, Dole, and Dolney Streets, New Brunswick Housing Corporation. And 6. Purchase land parcels, reconstruction, Virginia Avenue. I so move. Moved by Councillor Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the question, none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. Thank you. 10.2.1. Dieppe family policy. We have received a presentation in February by the committee and consultants, and there was an exercise, a consultation online with the public and organizations respecting youth and different and their presence at public activities. So this policy is before you tonight for adoption. And we'll be the first municipality to adopt a family policy. Thank you. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Thibodeau. The Council adopt the policy entitled Dieppe Family Policy. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Alain. For the question, all those in favor of the resolution? Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question for the policy, on the policy. I look at this, and I would like to see in the policy the priority axes and the issues. We don't know what part is family and what part is seniors. I would like to look at it to see what the integration and intergenerational integration is. So we'll note that, yes. Thank you. Do we have an answer to this question? You'll look at it. Thank you. It's under observation now. Any other question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. The resolution is adopted as presented, so we'll act upon the question that was raised. 10.2.2, or expansion 10.3, expansion Dieppe. No, 10.2.2, additional parking spaces. Here we have a recommendation to proceed with the expansion of the parking lot of the complex following adoption of the contract. It was indicated that it was for 200 places, but as the project evolved, we looked at the opportunities and the costs. We were able to add in the future more parking, and we recommend to proceed immediately to add 100 parking spaces more at the cost of $333,482 for a total amount at $30,523,482. And also in the evaluation by personnel, when you look at the addition of spaces, if we did it today, we would save 37% of the costs rather than expanding it later. So now we have to enlarge the parking lot. We have to add curbs and asphalt, and we have to work with retention pool as well. So it was much more advantageous to do it now. And we could offer more parking spaces for the events at the complex. So if you have any specific questions, personnel is here. So for the reading of the resolution, Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized an addition to the contract with Pomelo Inc. for expanding the parking lot of the intergenerational community complex by an additional 100 parking spaces at an additional estimated cost of $333,482 plus HST for a new total amount of $30,520,482 plus HST. The Council authorized a budget transfer in the amount of $333,482 plus HST from account number 1285975945 transfer to General Capital Reserve Fund to account number 742012-8920, General Capital Reserve Fund. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Brideau. For the question, Councillor Alain. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a comment. This weekend, an individual asked me a question on this file. I just want to know, to make sure that people in Dieppe realize this is a good deed, what we're doing today. This is a project we want to ensure as a council and as staff as well that is going to produce a good product. This weekend, we have championships here in New-Brunswick. At our center now, we have 200 parking spaces, and this weekend it was full. Saturday afternoon, between Memram, Cook, and Dieppe, the game, it was packed, the parking lots. We had trouble finding spaces, so now we'll have 300 in the new complex. It's a way of being proactive on this question. An extra 300,000, 30,000, of course. It's a better way for the residents to save as well. So the individual that asked me that question on the weekend, I'm answering him tonight. Councillor Leboutillier, the motion that is before us, have we asked or studied the fact that construction could have been done in 2 phases? Everything that has to be done to the retention pool and the asphalt and the curbs, that's the final phase. We're at the beginning of a project. Did they study the costs as such in 2 phases? Are you talking about the construction of the retention pool and the asphalt and curbs as 2 separate things? The municipality adopted 7 years ago a zero net procedure. So that means that all surface water during construction phase should be net zero. So the water can't go elsewhere during the construction. So by constructing a parking lot with 100 more spaces, and that has to be managed. So we need the retention pool for the rainwater while we're in that phase. I wanted more details. The costs. We're going to do the construction completely at the beginning of the project, and you want us to vote on $333,000 right now. Has a study been made on the alternative of the costs of construction without pavement and the finishing as such? You mean just the surface? Yes, for the 300 spaces without the paving. If the project is going well, then it would be completed within budget, and the next step would be finalizing with the pavement. We have standards for parking lots, and we have to do the same as the private sector as well. As far as planning goes, we could ask the questions if we can have the surface in gravel and pave it later. Mr. Book, you would have to look at all the details at the project for 200 parking spaces originally. We have 5 phases for this project. Excavation is being done now. And the foundation of the parking of 200 spaces that's being done now. It's ongoing, of course. Asphalting of all the 300 spaces and lighting and all that will be done later in the project in the finishing phases. But I can't tell you specifically on the 333,000 what part of asphalt will be done later, but we're talking about the base, draining, lighting that will be in the parking lot, and then respecting finishing, we'll have the asphalt borders and all that. They're all done in phases. Right now, we can have savings if we do it now rather than later. We've got studies on levels of the soil and surveyors are there. So it allows us to go much more quickly now. Thank you. No other questions? Then we'll proceed to the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. So we'll record the no of Councillor Leboutier. Resolution is passed as presented. The next item, 10.3, expansion Dieppe. In 2018, we had planned on buying properties, 3 properties, to make certain corrections. One PID that was in the resolution at that time was a 009848, but it should be 7012946. So this is a correction to make sure that everything is in conformity. So for the reading of the resolution, Councillor Gaudette. 10.3.1. Thank you, Your Worship. That the resolution entitled Directive Ratification Purchase Properties located on Lorraine and Dubois Streets and adopted at the regular council meeting held on May 14, 2018 be repealed and replaced by the following. The council accept to pay Expansion Dieppe up to $450,000 for the purchase of land identified under PIDs 701293441, 7012946, and 7012944 and located on Lorraine and Dubois Streets from the New-Brunswick Housing Corporation, and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3335587622, General Capital Budget, Land Purchase. That council authorized a budget transfer in the amount of $300,000 from account number 7420128920, General Capital Reserve Fund, to account number 3335587622, General Capital Budget, Land Purchase. I so move. Moved by Councillor Gaudette, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question, Councillor Lebois. Thank you, Your Worship. For this ratification, these are purchases that we've already done. We needed to correct some errors. That's it. No other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Resolution 10.3.1 adopted as presented. 10.4 Planning and Development. We were asked to amend bylaw Z 832 in public meeting on April 22nd. And these are changes, amendments that are significant. There are 2 buildings of 24 units. They want to make a presentation, and people can object or make comments at this presentation. Mr. Frenette, could you take over? Yes, rather than the April 23rd, it's April 22nd. It's because Monday is holiday, Easter Monday. At the second meeting, it wasn't 2 apartment buildings, 24 units, but there was rezoning, and the request is 1 apartment building of 6 stories and 84 units, so we're amending the original request. Thank you, Mr. Frenette. For the reading of the resolution, Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. The council scheduled a public hearing on April 23rd 2019 at 7 p.m. at Dieppe City Hall to hear objections with regard to proposed amendments to the resolution and conditions pertaining to zoning bylaw Z 832, registered at the registry office under number 332800067 on November 5th, 2013, relating to the property identified under PID 70474176 and located in Lafayette Street, and that Council requests the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee and extend the deadline pursuant to Article 110, brackets 3 of the Community Planning Act to May 27, 2019. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Resolution is adopted, and we all look forward to receiving the recommendations. Thank you. The next item, Public Works, tender award. Mr. Melanson, we're at that time of year. So we have asphalt repairing, patching. Dexter Construction Company was awarded the contract for $514,350. We received 4 submissions. What was recommended here, and it's the same as our neighboring cities, so we're recommending this contract as soon as we have a little bit of clement weather. Thank you. That council award the contract for the project entitled 2019 Asphalt Repairs to the lowest bidder, Dexter Construction Company Limited, at the cost of $514,350 plus HST, and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from the general operating budget and the water and sewer operating budget accounts listed in the memorandum relating to said project dated March 12, 2018. I so move. Moved by Councillor Alain, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question, all those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Adopted as presented. 11.1 bylaw number C8 authorizes the City of Dieppe to permanently close Portland Avenue. Who wants to read it? Councillor Le Boutillier in its entirety. Bylaw number C28, a bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to permanently close Portland Avenue, be it enacted by the Municipal Council of the City of Dieppe, whereas Section 10, brackets 1, P, brackets 2 of the Local Governance Act, Chapter 18 of the Statutes of New-Brunswick, 2017, authorize the City Council to make bylaws for municipal purposes respecting the temporary and permanent opening and closing of roads, streets, and highways. And whereas the closing of Portland Avenue, identified in Schedule A hereto attached, aims to foster the economic well-being of its community, now therefore be it resolved that from the date of ordaining and passing of this bylaw, the public street herein mentioned as specified as Schedule A be permanently closed. First reading, January 28th. This is moved, read in its entirety, read by Councillor Le Boutillier. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Bylaw is adopted and by reading in its entirety. Now we'll proceed to third reading by title only. Bylaw number C28, bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to permanently close Portland Avenue. I so move by title only. Moved in third reading by Councillor Le Boutillier. Seconded by Councillor Brideau. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Bylaw number C28 is accepted in third and last reading. This concludes our agenda. Any notice of motions? None. Inquiries and announcements by members of council. We'll start with Councillor Alain. You're looking at each other, pointing your fingers. I will ask in the future that a city manager take into account who went last. A lot of things happened on last weekend. There was a Ringuette at AGF for 44 teams from the province. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations to the many teams, but especially the team from Dieppe. My daughter's on that team. That's interesting. We had a banquet on Thursday night. There will be a banquet for Expansion Dieppe. There's a lot of place. There are no tickets left. They're all sold out. And humanitarian gala, if people want to buy tickets, that's Wingate on Thursday, April 4th. There's a group of students there, so we want to support them. Steve Finn is presenting. He's a former player of the NHL. And the provincial budgets, of course, we talked negatively about it, but federally, we have a fuel tax, and we hope to take advantage of that and respecting provincial budget with legislative amendments on tourist lodging. I hope that as a region we can go ahead with that tourist taxes. And that Mathieu Martin, I know the councillors are in agreement. We have Mitch and bathrooms, girls and boys, lots of teens. There's this great weekend. Thank you, Your Worship. That's all for me. Councillor Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. I want to say that I hope that everybody celebrated St. Patrick's Day, and I hope they all had a good time. And I wanted to underline the presence of Mr. Réal Légère and Daniel Malin. They're representing the Association of the Hard of Hearing in the region. Frankly, with the devotion at their work and their sense of justice and integrity, we have to thank them. I know His Worship did it a while ago, but I'm very happy that finally the city of Dieppe has opened up its spirit to welcome all our residents, especially the hard of hearing tonight. And we are able to serve many residents with special needs of all kinds. And I'm very proud of our city and that we can accommodate our residents. So thank you once again for your presence and to having presented that to us. Councillor Thibodeau. I wanted to congratulate our sports teams, but Councillor Alain did it all. But I want to congratulate our staff and volunteers who participated in the organization of these competitions. So congratulations to them. That's all. Councillor Leboutier. Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Alain talked about a lot of things that I wanted to speak about too. There's one he forgot. the Atlantic Attack Ringuet, the national league that represents a lot of athletes in Dieppe. They'll go to the national championships. They won last year, if you remember. They're national champions, and congratulations. They will compete in Prince Edward Island the second week of April. The other thing I wanted to say in these big tournaments that we have, I would like to congratulate city staff. There's a lot of people in the arenas, and it's very well maintained. So congratulations to everybody. They have big smiles on their faces too, so they need to be congratulated. Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. I wanted to mention that spring is here finally, after 2 months of winter. And you have noticed, I don't know where you spent the winter, 2 months? I've had a lot more than 2 months of winter. Okay, 3 months. And you notice that we have potholes everywhere. So drivers must be careful, but be polite as well to people that are walking along. Oh, the mic is off. Okay, we didn't miss much. You can continue. That's about it. All my excuses. Councillor Cormier, thank you, Your Worship. I wanted to congratulate the Matadors of Mathieu Martin for the victory on the weekend, and to congratulate them for their sportsmanship. And these hockey games, there were few punishments. So congratulations to those guys. And my grandson is on the team, and I'm so proud. Councillor Leblanc, thank you, Your Worship. Since our citizens are always ready to help when we need volunteers, there's a new opportunity now on the committee for the Christmas Santa Claus parade. We're looking for a volunteer to sit as judge to represent the city of Dieppe, to judge the floats at the Santa Claus parade. It'll be here soon enough. You can contact me personally or call the city. You'll take your name, and then we'll choose somebody. Otherwise, we'll have to start looking again in the fall. Councillor Godet, thank you, Your Worship. My first point, I would like to remind citizens that the city's webcam is on the construction site of Uniplex. So for those who want to follow this construction, they can look at it 24 hours a day if they have nothing better to do. And secondly, it was mentioned to me last week, the artist concept of the city. We have a sculpture at the entrance of the city, which dates from 1999. So my first question, what are we going to do with it? It's rusting, and it's not very pretty as an attraction. That's my first question. And concerning the painting of the books on the west side of City Hall, how long will that be there, this painting of books? Is it permanent, or is that going to be removed? Thank you. Mr. Melanson, I'll go with the first one. But the Francophone Summit on 99, that's when we installed this sculpture, the French doors is a theme. And as you mentioned, rust is a part of this work of art. We've had discussions with the artist to see if we could change it to have a new work of art. So we've discussed this for a few months. It's part of the artwork, of course, an evolution of time. The rust will increase, and all the natural elements that are on the sculpture, and that's as artistic as I can get for today. For the second question, books on the wall, the painting, yes. The Inspire Festival did that, and I think it's there permanently. We can't remove it from the brick. The only thing we could do in the future is to repaint something else. But for the time being, it's there permanently. Thank you. For me, I want to thank staff to have started painting the lines on the major streets because it's getting a bit difficult to figure out where you are. So thanks for that work. And I wanted to mention the visit last week of Mr. Christophe Katsayan. He's the deputy delegate for the territorial collectivities, communities, so our French friends with which we have partnerships are looking to increase their partnerships with other municipalities in New-Brunswick. So Mr. Katsayan was here for that reason. And he made a great comment as Ms. Louise Ambeau. He was saying he admired the artwork at our library. Everybody's tastes are different. They're not to discuss, but to cultivate. So on that note, I think everything has been said on all the sports events in the region. I must repeat, though, it's our staff in the arenas that make a difference. People tell me all the time, citizens, council members, it's the pride that is present. And they always have a big smile. And even people offer to help them and they say, oh, no, that's okay, it's my job. So we always hear really good compliments, and we want staff to hear them. All divisions of the municipality needs to be congratulated, so repeat it as often as you can. So on that, I wish you a good evening.